Today, I would like to talk about parents' relationships with children. Raising great kids is a privilege and a responsibility. Sometimes our children can't see their own greatness. Sometimes we can't. Other times we can see their greatness but struggle to step up because of our own challenges. We will be discussing the brain science, tools, and techniques that help us raise great kids. Hi, I'm Cynthia Armstrong. I'm a general education, special education teacher in the elementary grades. I homeschooled my children for 5 years. What I talk about are those things that I've learned and practiced and experimented with along the way to find what can help me, my children, and my students. Now, in school, we learn history, and they say "Hey, we learn about history so we don't repeat the past." But there's another thing about history that's very important, and that is um, learning from it and noticing how what we do and how we think today is affected by the things that have happened in the past. And today I kind of want to talk about women's roles because our women's roles have changed from what they were in the past. Our relationship to children have changed as well. And of course, I'm not talking specifically, but just kind of generally on a society level, which at any point in history, there's always those individual stories that don't fit into the general social stories. So women in the past, if you look at the 1950s, women didn't have job opportunities or educational opportunities to the same extent that men did. And so women were very reliant on husbands for finances, and often it was a subservient role. Men were the dominant leaders. They were domineering leaders often. And again, this is just generally speaking, like even if a man wasn't domineering, the woman could still feel unheard or trapped. And I think often that left us, if we look at our psychological needs, that left women feeling like, I don't feel love. I don't feel unique. They were not getting some of those needs met externally. And we are trained to meet needs externally. And so women, when they didn't get it from their husbands, those needs met, they would turn towards their children. And their children would be how they met feeling these needs of love and connection or significance or any of those psychological needs. But as things have changed, women are now able to become educated. They're able to support themselves. They don't need men to do that for them. And so it kind of changes our relationship with children in some cases. I mean, we can still get a lot of that love and that significance and things from our children. And so we put these expectations on our children like, oh, you need to meet my needs. Of course, we don't think that or say that, but it's just a subconscious thing and a feeling. And I don't know enough to identify now this is how it is across society, point blank. But as I was reading this article about women and how women's relationships with men have changed over time, I just can't help but think it has changed our relationship with our children. We have become independent. We don't need men to be financially secure. And or to, get that love from them. We have an extended sphere of friends where sometimes in that past, our friendships were determined by what the husband said or the man said. And that's not true anymore. So we have other means of externally meeting our needs, which, like I said, I think it's changed our relationship with children. Like, there's lots of people, it's very common to hear, oh, I don't want to have children, because um, they're lumped in with the, okay, I've got to have a man, I've got to have children, and things like that. And um, and then now it's like, oh, but I don't need children. I can be sufficient on my own, because I know how to meet needs externally. And I know this isn't for everyone. If this one isn't for you, you can go ahead, skip on to another episode. But for some, it might give you some really great insight to think about being authentic, because being authentic isn't avoiding being suppressed by a man. It isn't, oh, I've got to show that, I can do this on my own. That's not being authentic. That's being protective, but not authentic. And so when we really look at being authentic ourselves, then we can see how that affects, or not, how not being authentic may affect our children. So this is just a topic to consider, what do I feel like my relationship with my child should be? Is there something from society that is influencing that? My child needs to be in school and they need to get good grades and they need to go to this school and they need, or they're not going to be successful. Or is it really, or society might not look at me as a great parent? Um, is there something I'm being protective against, that so that I feel like we've come out of some of those things of the past? And for men, has that changed your relationship with your spouse, or with your girlfriend, or the mother of your children? And has it affected how you are with your children? Because sometimes men want to stay in that role. Sometimes, not always, you may not, but you may see, oh, how you can develop that better relationship with your child, and how you can be more involved than men's roles were in the past. Or you could still be, nope, I'm going to work. So even though the wife might also be going to work, or the mother might also be going to work, then, but that's still her job to take care of the kids too. So how does the influences of our history and our present affect our relationship with our children? And I know that in my course, that's what I teach. I teach us how to meet our needs internally, so that we're not as affected by society or history, or all those external things. And our children are still an external need, a way we can meet those needs. And so just to take a look, and am I meeting my needs myself? so that I can be authentic with my children and with those around me. So children are great by their very nature, and it is our privilege and our responsibility to raise them. I will see you in another episode. Hi friends, Cynthia Armstrong here. Thanks for joining us today. Please make sure that you subscribe to our channel so you can see when new videos come out and like this one. It is such a responsibility and a challenge to raise great kids, and we are here to help you along that journey to make it as enjoyable and fun and fulfilling as possible. Please check out our website, www.raisinggreatkids.net, and I will leave that in the description below.